How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be featuring the Pozharsky. I don't even know if I said that right, but the new premium Russian Tier 7 cruiser, basically the Kutuzov that only has AP, and also instead of normal smokes you have the short burst smokes that you will find on British destroyers or Belfast 43. This ship is sort of interesting, although it's kind of difficult to consider this ship good, mainly because of the other Russian cruisers at the same tier. Stuff like P-Bag, AL Chapayev are simply better. And I guess ultimately having sorry, not AP, HE on your cruiser is kind of important if there's a situation where there's battleships or something just simply going bow in. Your DPM is not going to be very good. Also, this, unlike the British cruisers, does not have short fuse, so trying to deal damage to destroyers, you're mostly going to get overpens, which is going to severely diminish what kind of damage you can output, and ultimately you're going to rely on a lot of broadside cruisers, which fortunately for us in this match there is a lot of cruisers, and well, you'll see we'll get a lot of broadsides. Kind of fortunate. I think in a normal circumstance we won't actually have this kind of success. Enemy Georgia just charging in. I decided to smoke up to start farming him. I was kind of expecting them to stay spotted considering the battleship that is, well, basically right next to us, although he is kind of just hiding behind the island, unfortunately, so we're not exactly able to farm anything. We might need to leave soon if the Georgia keeps charging straight in, which is exactly what he's doing. Our battleship finally got around the corner, basically poked his nose around. We got the Mogami that turned away, although since he did turn away, we do know there's probably torpedoes from him, and it's not a good idea to stay here very long. We are using our sonar, so at least we'll get some sort of warning. But short burst smoke, it's going to fade very shortly, so we are going to have to start leaving. Luckily, we turned out and we're actually near an island, so we have a way to disengage. Georgia still charging in, look at that fat gap in the torpedoes. Fortunately for us, we actually do land one of those on the left. Would have been super tragic if that gap just gave the battleship a freebie. And, well, yeah, I don't know. Georgia just charging straight in. Our battleship not really slowing them down. I think these are the situations where sometimes in destroyers you're just like, what are we supposed to do? All of our ships are sort of hiding and unable to stop a battleship just YOLOing in, and ultimately is what probably gets them killed a lot of the time. Camera going over the front turrets, we can't exactly see, so we use the overview camera to lock our turrets, and fortunately we still had a chance for our rear turrets to clear the island, which is why we did the overview camera and shot again, because our rear turrets could clear. Just one of those nuanced gimmicks if you can figure out, and honestly if you just have the feel for it when you play the game a little way too much. Enemy New Orleans charging in, well, not really charging in, just sailing flat broadside, and yeah, enemy DD also spotted. Pozharsky doesn't actually have as far range torps as Kutuzov, which is kind of unfortunate. Would have been nice. Kutuzov has 8 cam torps. I think Pozharsky is only 6 cam. At least it's not 4 cam like the Chapayev, but still would have been nicer to have better torp range, just so we're a little more capable of denying an area while we're in smoke. We finally start landing some citadels on the New Orleans. We don't actually have fixated on the commander. We are using Andrew Lip, and funnily, we're actually using his unique skill, the one that buffs your spotter plane. Even though this thing doesn't have spotter plane, there is one of the buffs for the skill that actually buffs your turret traverse, which I kind of wanted to use just because I was hoping to possibly use this ship as something that could sneak to a broadside or a flank and then use concealment to kind of show up where they're not expecting it. I am using double concealment inspirations, both Mikawa and Swirsky for this, so that's why I was kind of hoping to sneak on broadsides. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen here that much. It's more the fact that we're just going to be gifted broadsides. We try to reverse away from this island. I was kind of hoping their destroyer might have took the opportunity to try and sneak and push down the flank on the border, but it didn't seem like he was. And now that we know he's not there, it's time for us to just simply go towards the cap and play the objective. Our other flank and B cap is currently in the possession of the enemy, so we're not going to be getting that much points, and this could be an issue for us later down the road, especially considering there is an enemy Chkalov. Luckily for us though, he hasn't been on this side of the map, so we haven't been nuked for like half of our HP. I think if Chkalov was on this side, we definitely would have lost half our HP in one drop, and we probably wouldn't have had the game that we did, which is why we're featuring this. DD sailing to the border. Unfortunately, I mean, we do have some improved pen angles, but not quite the British light cruisers, so we're definitely not getting nearly as much damage on destroyers, which honestly would be kind of nice if we did, but unfortunately, you know, that's not the case. The only way we can hope to get full pens on destroyers is if they're angled away or in, and just enough for, I believe it's Baltimore pen angles on these 152s to kind of get us the damage that we're looking for against destroyers. But I think more often than not, that's not going to happen. They can just simply angle away and mitigate all the damage, or if they're broadside, we'll just overpen and deal 10% damage, which is also super tragic. Enemy Mogami that we smashed at the start decided to start charging in. Not sure why. He would have been very successful if he just kept kiting, but he turned in, and Mogami, like many of the Japanese cruisers, don't have good torp angles, so we're kind of fine just charging straight at him. Enemy Kutuzov parked behind the island. He's kind of surrounded. We have myself and the Flandre pushing C, and then we have a bunch of ships coming from A and B, so there's not really a whole lot of places that this Kutuzov W can hide. He's trying to reverse away from all of the ships in B, which is, I guess, the right choice because there's a lot more ships in front of him than behind him, but he does reverse a little too far. And, well, flat broadside Kutuzov with Pozharsky having improved AP pen, and, I mean, realistically, Kutuzov doesn't have that much armor, so we're gonna Citadel him anyway. And we do pick up the Kutuzov kill. Now we just need to be sort of worried about the destroyer. He kind of just sailed off to the corner. Not really sure where he went after he went unspotted, but if I had to assume, he's trying to torp our Flandre and gonna be somewhere on our right. Enemy team has 2 ships left, the DD and the Chkalov that's been reversing to the border. DD ends up getting spotted. Not sure if he just has that bad detection or if he's been shooting, but either way, we're gonna try to slow down and help out our Flandre as much as we can. But yeah, you're gonna see, I mean, obviously AP without that much improved pen angles, the damage we're doing to this thing is actually quite pitiful. I think we get more lucky than anything that we're dealing any sort of damage to him, because he is fairly angled, but I mean, I think all of our damage was actually to his superstructure. Everything that was hitting his hull was actually ricocheting, but we do finish him off and actually pick up our Kraken with the new art, I guess, for the medal. I don't know, it looks kind of weird to me. I think it would have been, or the old version was nicer. I'm not sure. It just sort of looks out of place compared to all the other medals. But yeah, now all that's left is the enemy Chkalov, and I mean, we are hungry for a CV kill, especially Chkalovs. I hate Chkalovs. Kind of the reason we don't play tier 7 and a busted CV that does twice the damage as the PC version and more damage per bomb and fire chance than a conch is kind of restarted. But yeah, we're just gonna keep running down the Chkalov. There's more than enough time. We're not that close to 1,000 points and or the time running out, so we're just going to fast forward here because we kind of are just sailing simulator here. But we eventually will get to the Chkalov, and we actually get to see Chkalov dropping our friendly battleship, and at some point how dirty the bomb drop is for the amount of pen and damage it has. Not sure if or when they'll nerf it. It's kind of the longest the CV that's been busted has gone. I mean, even after the CV rework, it took, what, 1 week? or was it 2 weeks for everything to change? But Chkalov somehow is still surviving. Not sure what they plan to do. I mean, it's technically a global ship, so not doubloons. We have the assumption, I mean, even now, they have the disclaimer to nerf premiums, and, I mean, Chkalov, free, global. I don't think they really have to worry about the disclaimer. People might be upset, but at the same time, if something's broken, obviously it needs to be balanced. But at the same time, why wasn't it balanced from the first place? It is what it is. Chkalov trying to run away, duck behind the island. I think he was kind of slow on his, I guess, attempt to run away, because he had quite some time before he was actually spotted. And now that he's broadside, we're actually finally able to do some meaningful damage. If he stayed bow in, we probably wouldn't do much. But we pick up our high caliber and our Confederate, and funnily, we actually do Citadel, the Chkalov from, I don't know however far away we were, which I honestly wasn't expecting for 152s, but I guess that is the improved pen that the Pozharsky's AP has. So we get our first Kraken. I think this is my second match in Pozharsky. Not a bad ship, just I still think ships like the P-Bag, normal Kutuzov and AO Chapayev are better, which, I mean, it's kind of hard for something like Pozharsky or really any cruiser to compete with those. I mean, even stuff like Baltimore and Wichita still, I think, are miles ahead, as well as Mainz. It's kind of just hard. There's a lot of very good ships at Tier 7, and there's kind of a weird place for you to put ships without making it broken. And, I mean, I think that's kind of where Pozharsky kind of falls. As, yeah, this unique skill is what we were using for the turret traverse. Obviously, there's no spotter plane, so we don't get that benefit. But, I mean, being a light cruiser, having a fast reload, didn't really think Fixated was that necessary, although it might have helped a little. But, yeah, double concealment inspirations like I mentioned before. Pozharsky, kind of just middle of the pack, in all honesty. Not having HE kind of sucks for a cruiser, or even SAP. Some other alternate type, ammo type to deal with other surface ships when they actually angle. But, yeah, I guess it's okay. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more, and share it with your friends. Or leave a comment down below on other ships you want to see in the future. But anyway, till next time, aloha.